ready.
Good afternoon. We are Group 2020 Vision. Now today we are here to discuss our topic with you on Problem Child. Now this topic is being presented to you by Josh VanDyken with Montgomery Parks. I'm a park maintenance leader out of Albany.
Sara Morgan. I work for Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission of Prince George's County, Maryland, Department of Parks and Recreation, and I am the Assistant Director at Montpelier Arts Center in Laurel, Maryland.
Andre Clark. I am the PAL coordinator, PAL being Police Athletic League at the Cockeysville Police Athletic League in Baltimore County, and I work with Baltimore County Department of Recreation and Parks.
And I am Jessica Cook-Thomas, District Area Manager for Baltimore City Recreation and Parks.
Okay. Problem child. Don't kick them out of the sandbox. Teach kids to play nice. Now we came up with a nice little acronym for NICE to help guide you through this process and to break it down into 4 simple, easy to follow steps. N, notice. You're going to notice behavior issues. You're going to notice a child acting out. You're going to notice these problems, bullying, stuff like that. Then I want you to investigate. Investigate the cause. Look into the child's life to find out what's going on. Talk to their parents, talk to the teacher, their classmates. I want you to investigate. Do a little digging and see what could be the root of this cause. Communicate. Now, communication holds the key. Talk to the parents, talk to the teacher, talk to their friends. Communication holds the key. And then I want you to encourage. Encourage a child. Let them know that you're there for them, that you're not going anywhere, you're here to help them. Encourage the parents to do the same. Same with classmates and their friends. Encourage a child. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Have you ever gotten in trouble with a teacher, a principal, your parents, or a police officer? Now, I want you to take a minute to share with your neighbor what happened and how it made you feel. Jessica?
Well, I have been in trouble with teacher, principal, parents, and occasionally a police officer, and it does not feel very nice.
Understand. Sara, how about you?
Absolutely. I have been a problem child a few times in my life, and I still sometimes continue to be a problem person. It doesn't feel good, even as good as we try to be. Sometimes we can slip up and burst out and have some conflict with our, loved ones, our staff and coworkers, but we do our best.
And Dre, how about you?
Have I ever gotten in trouble with a teacher? Check. Principal? Check. Parents? Check. Or a police officer? Check. I'm guilty on all 4 counts.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is in fact that all of us have been in trouble at one point in time. We've all been a problem child at one point in time. I mean, I know I have. So we can all relate to this topic. We deal with it every day on a day-to-day basis with children nowadays. Also with some of our work peers. So this can relate to that too. So today what we'll be doing is we'll be focusing on signs of troubling behavior and how to address them. Now I'm gonna cover the N for notice. Now noticeable behaviors are easily getting annoyed or acting nervous, often appearing angry or frustrated, putting blame on others, not taking ownership, saying that somebody else did it, it's their fault. Also refusing to follow the rules and question authority. Basically lashing out, not listening, stuff like that. Also arguing and throwing temper tantrums. And also having difficulty in handling frustration, not knowing the proper way to channel that frustration. Now I'm gonna flip it over to Sara where she's gonna teach you the I.
Thank you, Josh. So what do you do when you see these behaviors that Josh just mentioned? You investigate. So I stands for investigate the cause. Investigate the cause is exactly how it sounds. You investigate why that behavior is being displayed. An iceberg is a perfect visual because all we can see is the behavior or what's on the surface. But the root of the problem is the cause of this behavior or what is underneath the water in the iceberg's case. Some potential causes are a child's basic needs are not being met, such as they're hungry or sleepy or afraid. Other stressors could be external or environmental stressors, such as their peers are causing them to stress or their home life is unpleasant. There are many other factors that could play a part in the behavior, such as the child is emotional, has low self-esteem, or they may not have developed the wherewithal to cope yet. But one thing that we do know is as child mentors, it is our job to work towards what is underneath the water or those potential causes that we just discussed. Next slide, please, Josh. So how do we investigate the cause? You will want to look and listen. Look for actions and behaviors and try to determine what is causing them. Look for anything in the immediate environment that could be causing the individual stress, such as peers, or if the child is too hot, too cold, sleepy, etc. And then listen to what the child has to say. Listening will help you break the action and behavior down even further so you know how the child is feeling and what they're thinking. Being an active and engaging listener, but be careful not to put words in the child's mouth. Listen brings us to our next point in the N.I.C.E model, C for communicate. So take it away, Andre.
Thank you, Sarah. So we've already been told that the first thing to do is to notice the behavior. And then once you notice, you have to investigate. Right? So after you investigate, you come to conclusions, you realize you have to communicate with the child. There's 5 different areas that I'd like to touch on as far as communication. And the first is to promote positive behavior. We understand that a positive environment creates happy feelings in the child, and children thrive in a positive environment. So it's imperative that we promote positive behavior, particularly when children are displaying behaviors that are undesirable. In addition to that, promoting a positive environment makes a child feel confident. And we know that when any person feels confident, they are more likely to follow directions, they're more likely to be agreeable, and they are more likely to display behaviors that we would like to see in young people. Confident children take pride in their accomplishments. So we definitely want to communicate with them by promoting positive behavior so that they will be confident and they will take pride in the things that they do and the things they've been able to achieve. Lastly, children who are confident actually tend to thrive in social settings better than children who lack confidence. So we definitely want to communicate with children to promote positive behavior. And as you see, we do that for multiple reasons. The second thing we want to do is we want to dispel myths about negative behaviors being the norm. Oftentimes children want to do things because they think it's the cool thing to do. This is what other children are doing. But it's a myth that children with behavioral issues are bad. It's just a label that we put on them. The fact is that it's often not their fault. There are other there can be outside factors that are determining why they're behaving the way they're behaving. There's also a myth that children who display bad behaviors, they're doing it as a result, they're always doing it as a result of trauma. So of course we know that trauma can cause that, but it's not necessarily always the reason. There can be physical reasons. Sometimes the children may have something going on as far as their health that causes them some distress, and it might reflect in their behavior. Also, there's an older person or someone, a parent, who has a condition that may have been passed down to the child. Once again, causing them to, because they're dealing with something that the naked eye can't see. Also, it could be environmental. You could be dealing with a child who's been rejected by family members. It could be a child who sexual abuse. It could be a child who is dealing with a domestic violence situation, or there could just be some unstable things going on at home. So we have to be patient, and we have to dispel myths about negative behavior being the norm. We have to let children know that they don't have to act out because they think it's the cool thing to do. The third point is to highlight the positive, because perceptions affect behaviors. Children are impressionable, just like adults are. We don't need to consistently beat them down with the things that they're doing wrong. We tend to be very good at highlighting the negative, but we are poor in highlighting the positive. We need to give positive reinforcement. Children need it as much as, or maybe even more than we do as adults. So we want to highlight the positive just to keep them encouraged that they may make mistakes, but it doesn't make them bad. The fourth area is to build trust using positive interaction. That's key. It's tough to have a positive communication with somebody who is communicating you in a way that tells you are, you want to build trust using positive interaction. Advancements in terms of assisting them with their behavior. Last but not least, we want to nourish their self-esteem for all the obvious reasons. Children need to feel good about themselves. Once again, just as we do as adults, they need someone who's able to lead them in. Slide, please. So to wrap up the C, we understand that communication is key, but also communication can be transformative. And if you can let us see the young man who's obviously having a great time there. This is the same young man in the picture who's frowning on the left-hand side. Communication is key. With children, it can be transformative just as it can be with adults. Notice the behavior, investigate, and then you communicate. And I'm going to pass it on to Jessica.
Thank you, Andre. So as he said, you've noticed the behavior, investigated the cause, and through the healthy relationship of trust built, communicated what is desired. So it's now time to encourage. We want to encourage self-awareness, encourage the child to be aware of the possible past trauma and the things that trigger the memory of the trauma and what causes the behavior change so that we can foster the transformative actions that were mentioned and seen in the past slide. So we want to encourage self-monitoring, encourage the child to be aware of the present emotions and how to work through them. And of course, we want to encourage self-care. What needs to be done for them to have future optimal emotional and social health? So self-care is a guided act, and there are mindfulness and behavior forms that can assist with that. They are available online, and some of them are often free. So we have a think sheet available that we can send for you that a child can either complete alone or with the staff person that gives that child voice and choice. So we also know that self-care is gentle discipline. Discipline has its root disciple, which means to teach. So that self-care is a teachable moment. Self-care is ongoing. It takes consistency and repetitiveness, just kind of reminding the child, okay, Everything will be all right. And it's the repetitiveness that is both paramount and needed to get to the behavior that is desired. Next slide, please. So therefore, when we play nice, there are no problem children. The problem child is no problem. We know that every outburst is an opportunity to learn, and you're learning about the student, or the child, the situation, and about yourself. Every outburst is an opportunity to look and to listen, to lead the child up, out, and beyond. And every outburst is an opportunity to level up. Most importantly, every outburst is an opportunity to show love. So we are Vision 2020. We thank you for your attention. And if there are any questions, feel free to email any one of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.